Here's a really, really bad resume. Hopefully you can see that on there. Again, there's a picture of the person in there that's a no-no. In fact, if you include a picture or a photo for any company in the U.S., it automatically will be discarded. Employers can't use it as a part of the process any longer at that point because of the discrimination laws that are out there for employment discrimination or hiring discrimination. So please make sure that you don't put your picture on there. If you're applying in Europe and Latin America, the rules change. Often they will ask for a picture and you do need to comply at that point. But any company that's U.S. based, or if you apply here in the U.S., that should never be on there. It's also very difficult to read the information on her resume. She also has a lot of other legal stuff like eyes, her age, her hair color, her weight. Again, those are things that shouldn't be on there. Bullet points are very confusing, or she doesn't even have bullet points, but even the way she lists things out are very confusing on there. So again, that would not be a good way to go after it. Cover letters, we're going to kind of shift gears because that's the third document. So cover letter is always the first piece that you put together, resume, and then references if you're going to actually hand it to an employer. For your cover letter, it should be very specific to the job you're applying for. You'll need to do some research before you begin about the company, even researching yourself. Have all of your friends proofread this before you send it out and tell them that you will take them to Barnett's for ice cream if they find a mistake. Even I, who am always looking for errors and typographical errors and all of that, I even make mistakes, and I have people read over my work before I stick it out there. So please have a friend check it over, make sure that you've spelled everything correctly, that it all looks good, and then that you've appropriately communicated yourself to that employer. Sometimes friends are really good about giving us an honest reflection that way. So at the very top, you need to have their address, and so who it is that you're applying to. You also need to address it to a specific person. So in this specific instance, it's Mr. Hire Me is who I'm applying to. You can find that information oftentimes on the website. Many times people's names and information are put out there. Looking for an organizational chart from a company or organization, looking for the hiring director or human resource director are also ways to be able to identify at least a person to stick in there who's a part of the organization. There are times at JBU where someone can't find me if they're applying to a job with me or with Dr. Brocard or Dr. Beers, and so they'll actually put down Dear Mr. Kuhn, who's our Director of Human Resources. So again, I would encourage you to at least find a name of someone that's remotely involved. Probably not the CEO unless it's a small company, but that may be another way to go at it. Your first paragraph is how you tell them about how you learned about the position. Recently I saw Utopia Incorporated's ad in the Wall Street Journal for an entry-level accountant. I believe that my education, experience, and personal philosophy of work matched Utopia Incorporated well, and I'd like to be considered for the position. The next paragraph, you demonstrate knowledge of the company. I'm a highly skilled, detail-oriented accountant and want to use my skill to make a positive impact for the world. From the information that I've gathered from your website and your founder's book, Utopia, let's make it happen. It's clear to me that Utopia Incorporated's mission is one that I can identify with very strongly. My experiences, skills, and my heart are all focused in the direction of accounting for the nonprofit organization. Again, for both of those pieces, you need to go out and look for information. Google is a great friend for that because you're able to kind of scan and see what the current information is in the news about that organization before you go to write this. Another really helpful way to go at this is to go on LinkedIn and actually type in the company or organization on LinkedIn, and many of them are out there. It'll let you know what current trends are happening with that organization. Another one out there is Glassdoor.com, and if you go through the career development website, it's under job search tools, search by major, and then pick your major, and Glassdoor is right there as one of the options. Through Glassdoor, you're able to find out what other employers are experiencing around that. You're able to find salary information, some of that good stuff. But you can really also get a heartbeat for what's going on within the company or organization through that website as well. The next paragraph, you need to reference your resume and personal highlights. As you can see from my enclosed resume, I've spent 3 summers working for the United Way, World Relief Amnesty International. Through these unique experiences, I've become skilled in nonprofit accounting, proficient in interpretation of tax laws as they apply to nonprofit organizations, and familiar with organization, structure, and operation of the 3 leading nonprofit organizations. So again, it doesn't just say I'm detail-oriented, I'm able to work in teams, but it really it involves some really power bullet points essentially. to really give a good description of what it is that you've done, how you've done it, the quality with which you've done things. Again, these are all should be extremely related to the job description. So as you go through the job description, what are the things that they're looking for, and this needs to highly correlate to be able to tell a story or compelling story. Also in your resume, either at this point or the next, you need to at least have a paragraph. If you're transitioning careers, you need to talk about that. Some of you may have been a stay-at-home mom for a while and you're trying to figure out how do I get back in the workforce after being out for a period or maybe never having had a job around that time. Again, thinking about why you're wanting to go back or why you want to work for that organization and what skills you're bringing to them. You can really reference some of those other experiences, volunteer experiences, family experiences, to kind of help with that transition. Finally, you need to ask for an interview and provide your contact information in the cover letter. I would love the opportunity to sit down with you and explain how I cut costs at the 3 aforementioned organizations while allowing them to fulfill their respective missions at their same high standards. I can be reached at your phone number and can be available at your convenience. Also, I'll be in the Perfection area from June 20th to June 25th if this would make a meeting more convenient. Again, you want to let them know that you're really interested in an interview. You need to ask for an interview because that's what your intention is with this. I hope that's what your intention is with this. The other thing is it's important to let them know if you're going to be in that area. So again, if you're going to be in California for a certain period of time for Christmas break or spring break or Thanksgiving break or something like that, let the employer know you're going to be in the area and they're going to be a whole lot more likely to bring you in because you've saved them the cost of travel, even though many of them still will reimburse you for that. I would really encourage you to let them know if you're going to be in that area at a certain point in time so that they can interview you. Finally, the last paragraph, you thank the reader and tell them when you're going to follow up if you can. Thank you for taking the time to consider me for this position. I will be calling you in several days to confirm that you've received these materials. Sincerely, you need to make sure that you sign this. One trick for doing that is to actually sign a blank piece of computer paper, scan it, and save it as a JPEG, and then you actually can take your JPEG and put it in here, and then when you submit this as a PDF file, you can save it and it'll lock your signature into that cover letter. So that's one kind of quick trick instead of having to keep reprinting them out, signing them, and scanning them in if you're going to submit them electronically. Obviously, if you're going to submit it in person, please print it out again on resume paper, and you want to sign it with a blue or black ink pen. Again, it demonstrates your professionalism. With this last phrase, I'll be calling you in several days to confirm that you've received the materials. Do not say this unless you know who it is you're contacting. Again, if you were going to apply to Walmart, who has 30 different recruiters for different areas and different specializations, you don't know who you're going to contact to see if they've received those materials. So please don't say it unless you can follow through with it. Again, this is one of those integrity issues, detail issues that you need to be very, very cautious about. But if you do know who it is that you're applying with and for, and it's a friend maybe, or a relative, or someone else out there, maybe it's someone that you were connected with from your internship who's referred you to a job and you're sending them the materials, please follow up with them. Make sure that they got everything that they needed. Ask them if you can answer any other questions for them, or if they have any questions, they're free to contact you. But again, make yourself available at that point. So here's kind of a quick format of what a good sample cover letter would be. Again, you're addressing it to a specific person, letting them know what you know about it, what you're bringing to it, and then asking for a resume or an interview, and then thanking them for their time.